to go out to those who have signed up for, paid for, included in the course. I think we're live. There's always a bit of a lag. So I'm going to give it just a moment. There we go. Welcome, welcome. Okay, this is, let me get the official title. My screen is not cooperating. This is Learn the Celtic Cross Tarot Spread. Hi, I am Valerie Lewis. This is a Tarot Unicorns and Coffee event and also part of the Advanced Tarot Mastery course. So we have students from my Advanced Tarot Mastery course present today, and also tarot enthusiasts who just want to learn a little bit more about tarot and this ancient, very powerful spread. Before we get into it, I do want to mention this is listed as a tarot spread just because we are all practicing tarot, but you can use this spread with oracle cards. Today's presentation is going to be all about using this spread with tarot, but I did want to mention that here at the beginning so that you know your options. And let's get the screen share started here. One moment. All right, I just learned a new trick. So hang on just a moment while I get this all set up. I think I learned a new trick. Hold on, y'all.
I love you. It's so funny.
It worked yesterday. Maybe I'm complicating things. Let's do this. Let's hope I'm not making my computer work too much. All right, learn the Celtic Cross Tarot spread. Let's get into it. First, I want to start by just talking about the Celtic Cross symbology itself. It's beneficial to understand what the Celtic Cross actually looks like so that you understand the card placements a little bit better once we start laying out the cards. So the Celtic Cross symbology, just the symbology of why are we using a Celtic Cross as our base symbol to laying out the cards. The Celtic Cross features a traditional cross, you see that in the middle there, accentuated with a circle around the intersection of the arms and the stem. So this symbol in and of itself is subject to many different interpretations. The Celtic Cross is said to be representation of knowledge, strength, and compassion to manage life's ups and downs. And that's just the Celtic Cross itself. The four arms of the Celtic Cross are thought to be representative of the four directions of compassion, the four elements of fire, earth, air, and water, and also as a representation of our mind, soul, body, and heart being really important. So that center ring, and let me just see if I can move my cursor over it. This part that's behind the cross is important, even though it looks like it's not part of the cross. That center ring of the Celtic Cross is said to be evocative of the Celtic symbol for infinite love with no beginning and no end. More precisely, those who are religious, it's said to be a symbolism of God's endless love, with many believing that it is also a depiction of the halo of Christ. So we do see some Christian crossover here. And that particular quote, that last paragraph is from blarney.com, Celtic Cross meaning. And again, we're just talking about the Celtic Cross itself as it represents throughout history. So where did the Celtic Cross spread come from? A wee bit of history on the spread itself. I had to do my Irish, my Celtic accent there. I know it's terrible. Stay with me, y'all. Don't drop off the call because my accent is not good. The Celtic Cross spread was first published by Arthur Waite in 1910 in the book, The Pictorial Key to the Tarot, which I have here with me. And many of you know that this is a book that I referred to often during the Advanced Tarot Mastery course. So the Pictorial Key to the Tarot and the Celtic Cross is one of the one of these spreads in the back of the book. I'm not going to flip and try to find it. But it's important to note published. I italicized published. Doesn't mean that it wasn't around before 1910. It absolutely was. But this is the first time it was published in book form so that others could benefit from it. So it was listed in that book as an ancient Celtic method of divination. So maybe it hadn't quite picked up Celtic Cross spread as an official title yet in 1910. But it's important to realize that the person who published it, Arthur Edward Waite, was a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And there were many practitioners, tarot readers, various divination means that took place within that society. Arthur Waite being just one of them. The society itself, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, had been using this Celtic Cross spread for many, many years before it actually got published in a book by Arthur Waite. So this Celtic Cross spread has been around way before the first time it was published. It had been used widely by many practitioners, many tarot readers, many people who used cards to divinate. And before that, I really couldn't find, I'm sure if I dug a little bit deeper, I really couldn't find like a history of where it actually began, like to give you a date or a time frame. Just knowing that it is at least that old helps you understand how long it has actually been around, and kind of where it started gaining momentum as far as being widely used was when it became published and by the users or by the members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Of course, once that got out, it was used all over the place. It wasn't just used in this society. So this is just a society that kind of brought it to the public's eye, so to speak. So that's kind of where it started. That's where I picked up with the knowledge of where it started, because that's where it was first published. So let's talk about why it's so popular. And this is important. It's popular because it works. It works, and it works well. And we know that over history, when we have these tools or these things that come to humankind, human acknowledgments, if they last past a generation, past a decade, past, in this case, many generations for over 100 of years, we know it lasts that long because it's actually working. So it's important to acknowledge that. It's also popular because it provides a simple, surface level understanding of the situation question at hand by reading each card in its individual placement, which means it's a good spread for beginners if you just want that surface level understanding by reading each card in its individual placement. But it also provides a deeper, digging deep, more insightful understanding when you read the cards in combination to the other placements. And that's what we'll be talking about, both of those today. So that's another reason why it's so popular, because no matter where you are on your tarot journey, you can use this spread for a beginner level understanding of what's going on, or for a more advanced, deeper understanding of what's going on. Because it's versatile is why it's so popular. And then also, another reason why it's so popular is because it's been around for so long, over 100 years, that there's a wealth of knowledge about this spread. All of the people using it over this century of time, more than a century of time, are pouring their knowledge in as far as this is how I used it, or this is what came up. So we have all of that wealth and knowledge and wisdom to pull from when we go into trying to understand this spread even better. So you can find it all over the internet. We have access to the internet today. You can read articles about it. You can read books about it. You can listen to practitioners like myself talk about it. And all of that helps maintain its stability in our tarot world, and also make it more popular because there's so much information that we can find to lend to our understanding of this spread. So that's why it's so popular. So I want to take a moment before we get into this is how you lay out the spread, and this is what this card means, and this is how you interpret that. I want to take a moment to just try to sit back, let go of all of our preconcepts and expectations about what this class may mean, and allow ourselves to connect energetically to this spread. And the way we're going to do that is by a guided meditation today. So I invite you to get comfortable. Get cozy in your spot. You can leave your camera on or off, whatever is most comfortable to you as you prepare for meditation. I will stop the screen share here. And go ahead and get comfortable. Gently close your eyes. And begin by taking a couple of deep belly breaths into your belly, allowing your belly, your chest to expand. And then slowly releasing that breath, exhaling, allowing your body to relax. allowing any tension, any stress to flow out of your body on the exhale, and calling in energy and stability to yourself on the inhale. Take a couple of more deep breaths as you really settle into this moment and allowing yourself to fully relax. Now I want you to imagine yourself walking on a path in a beautiful forest. You've been on this path for quite a while. This is your life path. You carry with you a long wooden staff that you're using as a walking stick. You're walking along this beautiful path today with a question on your mind. It's a challenging question, and it's kind of weighing you down, zapping your energy, making you weary, tired. So you decide to take a rest from your walking. You find a beautiful little clearing and decide to rest here. Before you sit down, you notice how soft and lush the forest ground is in this space. You take a moment just to breathe in and connect with this area, with this space. It's so peaceful, so beautiful, and the ground is so soft. You take your walking stick, your staff, and you push it into the ground so that it's standing upright. And then you take a seat next to it. You decide that maybe now is a great time to meditate, to kind of get some clarity on that question that is weighing you down. Release whatever you don't need. And so as you sit on this beautiful soft ground, you practice a yoga pose to try to help you clear your mind. While seated, you cross your legs and you gently lift your arms and extend them to your side so that they are now even with your heart center. A very relaxed pose, your palms open, facing upwards, your elbows slightly bent, your hands up, extended. And then you begin your deep breathing, calming yourself and centering yourself. You begin to imagine the energy flow that has brought you to this current challenge or question in your life. It's like a horizontal timeline that you can see in your mind's eye, from past to present moment to future realities. Then you see yourself seated right in the middle of that timeline, with the energies of all time flowing and moving through you. They flow in through your left hand, through your heart center, and out again through your right hand. You sit for a moment and you reflect on how fluid time truly is. Some memories come up and you let them pass. Some thoughts of the future come up and you let them flow as well. You notice your heart center begin to grow and respond to the thoughts and to time as it passes through you. How does your heart feel? How is it reacting to your flowing timeline? You continue to let these energies of time flow through you, observing them with curiosity. Just letting that stream of time flow easily through you. As you are sitting, you begin to notice again just how soft the ground is beneath you, how lush and comforting it feels. You feel very grounded, and you may even imagine yourself sinking into that ground a little deeper and seeing roots growing out and really connecting you to all the layers of the earth that lie beneath you. All the things hidden beneath the surface of the earth. You feel your energy connecting to them. You begin to feel the energy of the earth moving up through you, starting at your root chakra, moving up through your heart center, crossing over the timeline energies, and continuing up, all the way up, finally moving out through your crown chakra. You feel uplifted by this energy moving upwards through you. And you notice that your mood has shifted from tired and weary to energized and complete. Again, you're aware that you have energies flowing horizontally through you, the timeline of your entire life, and energies moving vertically through you, connecting you to what lies beneath, connecting to your heart center, crossing over that timeline, and connecting you to what lies above. And now you begin to focus on the reason why you started this journey to begin with. You start to think about what it is you truly want. You focus on what your true desires are, and you find pleasure in those thoughts once again. As you notice that you now have two energy streams moving through you, you begin to play with those energies. First, you slowly raise your left hand, where all of your memories of your past are flowing into you. And you begin to notice how that affects your thoughts about your goals. You lower that hand and slowly raise your right hand, where all the probable future events are flowing out of you. And you notice again how those energies affect your thoughts about what it is you really want. After sitting and enjoying these energy streams for just a bit more, you decide that now it's time to continue your journey. You're feeling refreshed. You're feeling reconnected to the reasons why you chose this life path. You're feeling energized. And so from the seated position, you reach out and grab a hold of that staff that's upright beside you. You use it to pull yourself slowly back up to a standing position. You're feeling stable and ready to continue on your path. You pull the staff from out of the ground, and you know that you're going to need it to steady your steps and help you walk along your path. You're now ready to continue on your path as you find your way out of this beautiful clearing back to the path that you were walking, feeling more clarity, feeling more strength, feeling energized, You are now ready to continue on your path. Take a few deep breaths as you slowly come back to the room, come back to your current position. And when you're ready, you can slowly blink your eyes open and return back to the group. All right, welcome back, everyone. So that was our little guided meditation. And hopefully that just gave you a good visualization that will come into play later when we actually look at the different positions of the card. We understand how that all plays in together. So here's a visualization. We're looking at this person from the back. I blanked out the numbers because the numbers shifted a little bit from this particular image, but that's kind of what we would have looked like if we were sitting there in that beautiful forest ground with all of the energies flowing from left to right through us, and then up through our center, making the cross, and our staff next to us in the ground. So let's talk about what all of those positions mean. And here you see the Celtic Cross layout, the same as if we were sitting in that position with our legs folded. So the Celtic Cross spread. And so we get into this. This spread is best used when you have a specific question or a situation that you want deeper insight in. So this is, you can use it any way you want, but it works best when you wouldn't want to use, I shouldn't say you wouldn't want to. It might be a more difficult spread to read if someone just says, just tell me, give me a general read, just tell me what I need to know. You could use this spread for that, absolutely, and I have before, but it works much better when you have a specific question or a situation that you want to really dig into. So the 10 cards represent completeness and a total picture. I will say the placements where I've numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you go out into the internet, there are various interpretations of what the cards are. I went with the one that made the most intuitive sense for me, especially based on the visualization that I just guided you through. And so my cards numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 might be a little bit different placement than what you might find out on the internet. And it's important to note that there are different ways that they place these cards. Find the one that most resonates with you. But again, this is the one that is the most intuitive and makes the most sense, especially with the guided visualization that we went through. So this is the one we're going with. All right. So the 10 cards, there's 10 cards because 10, as we know, not only in tarot, but also in numerology, represents completeness. Spiritual cycle of enlightenment, also represented by the number 10. We are going to refer to the original layout card meanings, and that means the 1 has a specific meaning, the card number 2 has a specific meaning. We're not talking about the placement, we're just talking about the meanings for them. And again, you will find different meanings, but we're talking about when Arthur Waite published this in 1910, we're going by what he said card number 1 meant and what he said card number 2 meant. There are variations on card numbering, but for the most part, most versions still assign the same meaning to the placements, regardless of how they are numbered and where they are positioned. I hope that makes sense. Any questions on that? Because I may have confused y'all. That makes sense? Okay, good deal. Okay, so the cross. This part right here, I'll move my cursor over it. The cross right here, boop, boop, boop. The cross are cards 1 through 6, and that represents the current situation, the matter at hand, and what is contributing to it, supporting it, or hindering it. The staff over here, cards 7 through 8. Oh, I'm sorry. Also, there's an inner and an outer cross that we need to look at. The inner cross being this right here, cards 1 and 2, and the outer cross, again, that circle. Remember from the image of the Celtic Cross spread is the outer cross. Okay, the staff, cards 7 through 8. I'm sorry, 7 through 10. Are the relationship between the querent, which could be you if you're reading for yourself, or your client if you're reading for someone else. It's the relationship between the querent and the environment world around them. So outside contributing factors that are either supporting or possibly hindering the matter at hand. The path, it also represents the path forward.
We-
Go ahead.
Can we go back so I can write this down? Or are you gonna give us like the handouts of the meeting?
Yes, you'll have the handout. This, yes.
Oh, okay, then I'm gonna write this all down then.
Okay, all
All
right.
right, cool. I was like furiously writing.
All right, so the Celtic Cross, we're going to start first with cards 1 through 6. And the inner cross. Now, many of you who have been following me for a while will hear me refer to cards 1 and 2, the Celtic Cross, and how I do these for a quick read. You can absolutely use just 1 and 2 and get a real quick read on the situation. So cards 1 and 2 are, yeah, I'm going to say the most important. The most important, they're the jumping off point for this spread. So the inner cross, cards 1 and 2, represent the heart of the matter. And if you remember from that pose from our meditation, that heart center was right in the middle. So that it crosses right over the heart of the matter, the essence for the entire reading. What's going on right now, cards 1 and 2. So card 1 is that which covers you. It would be the one that is right over your heart, upright. And number 1, and that which covers you, in quote, that is how it is referred to by Arthur Waite in the original publication of this one. So, and it's pretty much that which covers you. Those phrases that are going to be in purple are pretty much the phrases that no matter how you learn it and where the cards are positioned, it's still those phrases that apply to the meaning of the card. So, and that which covers you, and that means that is your current situation or matter. It's what's going on now. What influence is most affecting your current situation, your current atmosphere, mindset, or situation? And it could also represent how you perceive the situation. So a simpler way of putting it, card number 1 is where are you at? Where are you at right now in relation to everything that's going on? Card number 2 is that which crosses you. And these are obstacles and conflicts. What is blocking you? Challenges that will need to be dealt with in order for you to proceed further along your path. So you can see how just using those 2 cards can give you a quick bead on the reading that you might be giving for yourself or for others. Mm-hmm. And I will let you know, I did pull 10 cards, a Celtic Cross spread for today, which once we get into the actual meanings and how to read it, we'll go over that. I'll use that as a sample. They're laying over here on my desk. And the question I posed was, what do I need to know about teaching others the Celtic Cross Tarot spread today? So we'll dig into that once we get through all of the placements. So let's move on to 3 and 4. The outer cross, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, but we're going to start with 3 and 4. So the outer cross, cards 3 and 4 show how our subconscious and conscious are affecting the current situation. It can help uncover unconscious beliefs that you may have that are present and affecting you. This is so good when we go into a reading or somebody tells us or we just become aware of, I know there's something that's holding me back. I know I need to let go of it. You're praying to spirit and spirit is like, yeah, you'll figure it out soon enough. I don't know about y'all, but that's what spirit tells me. It pisses me off. But when you really need to know, like, is there a way that I can really figure out what is in my subconscious beliefs so that I can at least pinpoint it and be aware of it and then work on releasing it? This is the spread. This is the spread that's going to really help you uncover what that is. So card 3 is that which is below you. And it's the foundation or the basis of the situation. It's things that are already present in your situation, and it points to the subconscious, the roots, the motivating force, beliefs that you hold that are affecting the current situation. Card 4 is that which crowns you. Think of the crown chakra, what's above you. And this would be the ideal situation or the outcome. This would be either A, your goals, how you want things to turn out, which would be your conscious your awareness of the situation and your assumptions, also where your focus is, or B, the best that can be achieved if nothing changes. That's a lot for just one card placement. And you will need your intuition to determine which one of these meanings applies in this situation. But when you lay out all 10 cards, it'll come to you. It'll make sense. So let's move on to cards 5 and 6, which again are still part of that outer cross. The outer cards 5 and 6, these are the timeline cards. So remember when we were sitting in that situation and we had the timeline energies flowing through us? That's going to help you remember the timeline cards. They show what has already happened that is affecting you now and what the probable outcome will be if you continue on your path without making any changes. So card 5 is that which is behind you. And that's your past. Past resolutions can also be past accomplishments, things in your past that you might still be focused on, something you need to let go of in your past. Can also represent your left intuition, what's coming in, what you're receiving, your skills and talents that you already possess, like things that you've learned in your past that are now in your toolbox. It also represents feminine energy, divine feminine energy, because it's left. Card number 6 is that which is before you. And of course, that would be your future outcomes if you continue your current path. The next step on your path could also be the effect of your actions or your ability to make a decision or take action. And that is divine masculine energy, because we're talking about what's going to happen, future facing, taking action, moving you forward. And then, so that's the inner cards. The cards 1 through 6, I will say, are probably the easiest cards to read. And now we're going to move into the staff, or cards 7 through 10. Now remember, in that illustration, that staff is that which stabilizes us. That's what we use to lean on as we move forward on our path. So it's got a lot of information there. It's that which we use to keep us moving along our path. So card 7 is self. This is yourself as you see yourself. So it's self-concept, beliefs you carry about yourself, your attitude in the current circumstances, could also be your persona or your mask. Card number 8, it's that which surrounds you. This is your environment, outside factors or people that have an impact on the situation. It could also be how others perceive you. So remember, 7 is how you see yourself. 8 would be how others perceive you. The world around you, what is beyond your control, your position in life, or your family upbringing. Could be any or all of those. The environment, that which surrounds you. Moving on to card number 9, dun, dun, dun. I will tell you, card number 9 for me is one of the most challenging cards to read, and it might prove that way for you as well. Many tarot readers say that card number 9 is the most difficult. Don't let that scare you though. That's why you're here in today's class, so we can make sense of this. So card number 9 is hopes or fears. Now, just from the title, you can see why that might be challenging, because you pull that card and you don't know if it's a hope or a fear. That's your first challenge. But we get into a little bit more, your hopes and or fears regarding attaining your goal. So it could also be hopes and fears, not just or, but hopes or fears is how it's listed by Arthur Waite. Your intuition is going to be needed, absolutely no questions asked when you read number 9. This refers to what you secretly desire and or what you are trying to avoid. It could be anxieties. It could be what you want, but still doubt. It could be what you will need to resolve or move past. The last rung on the ladder, I do want to say, I use the word ladder because some people refer to this over here as a ladder and not a staff. So to give you an example, to make it make sense in your heads, when it says hopes or fear, have you ever heard people say fear of success? This would be a perfect placement for that, because you want success and you are simultaneously scared of it. So that is your hope, but you are also simultaneously scared of it. So it's going to take a little digging and a little picking apart to figure out what this card really means, and especially what it might mean in relation to the person you're reading for. So that's why you can see this one can be a bit challenging. Number 10 is the final overall result. Again, 10, completion, what we aspire for it to be. Future outcomes if you continue on your current path. Summary of all the other cards in the spread. Resolution, culmination, or the outcome. And I will say the final overall result, if you continue on your current path, yes, it can be read that way, but also energetically, as you start going through this path and moving through this path with yourself or with someone else, that card 10 could have an initial meaning and could also have a forward-facing meaning. Like there are some things that are going to come up in this reading that you are going to want to change. It's kind of one of those predictive things where if you continue your current path, this could be what happens, but also you have the ability to change things. And this could be pointing to changes that you've decided to make as well. So a little bit confusing, but the final overall result is often thought of as 10. It's not often thought of. It's what card 10 represents. Let me see if I say what I want to say. Yeah. I was gonna I hope I put this on the slide. So let me just, never skip ahead to this card when you're reading this. It needs to be read in relation to all the other cards. So a lot of times, myself included, I'm very guilty of this. When I first started using this phrase, I was in this spread, I was in a completely different place in my life, and I needed a lot of guidance. And you flip over all those 10 cards and you're like, but what I really want to know is where am I going? What's going to happen? And you have the tendency to flip over that 10 card and just read that 10 card. But that 10 card is not going to make sense as a standalone card. You need to read it in relation to all the others. So even if you're looking at card number 10, and let's say 10 is the motherfucking sun, and you get really excited, oh, everything's going to turn out okay. Yeah, but how are you going to get there? We need to read all of the cards to make sure we have a good, clear understanding of how are we going to reach the attainment of that card, not just going with, oh, everything's going to turn out okay, so I don't need to pay attention to the other 9 cards. That would not be beneficial for you. All right. I think we go into, yes, a couple more cards. So we have our 10 cards, but oftentimes some of those 10 cards can be challenging, especially the card number 9. And sometimes you might need to pull an additional card. So the first card that you would pull, and this would be when you pull the other 10 cards, if you feel like you need a little extra help, and Spirit will either let you know that, or you can just do this on your own until you become more familiar with it. But the first card is called an anchor card. You will pull the anchor card when you pull the other 10. So you can either lay the anchor card out first, which is what I would suggest because it just makes more intuitive sense, or you can lay out all 10 cards and then pull that anchor card as card number 11. Either way you decide to do it, the anchor card is usually set over to the side, and it represents the overlaying theme or the energy of the spread. So you can also ask yourself, what does each card in the spread mean in relation to the anchor card? This will make more sense once you actually start laying out the cards and playing with the card meanings and trying to interpret it. But an anchor card can be very beneficial, especially when you're first starting to practice this, because it just gives you an overall set point of like, what are we going to talk about today, Spirit? That anchor card is going to tell you what you're going to talk about. It's like a chapter heading, and then the spread itself is going to be the chapter itself, all of the writings and all of the things that you truly need to understand about the overlying theme. And then clarifying cards are cards that you will pull during the reading. Clarifying cards means this 9 card has me stumped and I can't figure out if it's a hope or fear or what we're doing here. And my intuition is kind of all over the place. I'm going to pull a clarifying card that's going to give me more information about this placement that I'm trying to figure out. So it's additional cards pulled during the reading to help clarify the meaning of a card when the interpretation is challenging or when more information is decided. So you can pull this at any point during the reading. If you need more clarity on card number 1, pull a clarifier at any point during the reading. If you've pulled the clarifier and the querent that or yourself or the querent is like, can you tell me more about that? I don't quite get what you're talking about in my subconscious, or what you're talking about with card number 3. I don't quite understand that. Sure, you want more information? I'll pull a clarifier and we'll see if we can dig in a little bit deep. So it's not always because you don't understand the card, Sometimes it's someone that's just asking for, tell me more about that. And so you pull more clarifying cards. So those are additional cards that you might pull in relation to when you're reading the Celtic Cross.
I have a question, Val.
Yep.
Do you pull those clarifiers from the same deck you're using, or do you use a separate deck so that you have all cards available?
Completely up to you. That's a great question. And you might want to have two decks available. It's completely up to you. I personally would pull it from the same deck unless Spirit is telling me to shift energy and pull it from a different deck. Here's a good one too. Anchor and clarifying cards can be oracle cards. Sometimes those oracle cards give us a lot more succinct and just boom, here's what you need to know. So maybe you want to pull an anchor or a clarifying card from the oracle deck as well to add to the meaning of the spread.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, I personally pull from the same deck because if I've already pulled, let's say I've already pulled 10 of Swords in the 9 position, and then I go to a different deck and I pull the 10 of Swords again. Well, I know that Spirit is trying to really emphasize the 10 of Swords, but my brain doesn't have additional information because I pulled the same card twice. So that's just me. It's totally up to you how you choose to do that. And sometimes Spirit will say you need a different deck because the message that I'm trying to send you has a different energy than the cards that you've pulled from, and you'll just intuitively know. Have two decks ready. If it makes you feel safe, have 2 decks ready.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. I think we're going to go. Oh, yeah. Okay. I want to talk about a few important card combinations as you read the spread for yourself and others. These might be something you want to jot down just because when we get into practicing the spread, you might want to refer back to these combinations. So the first one is 5 and 6, how the past influences the future. What things in your past or things you already possess are influencing the possible future outcome? And what is the probable timeline of events if nothing changes? Probable, I misspelled that. So that's one. Maybe you pulled all the cards, you've kind of done your general once over with the cards, and you want to specifically know what's going on in the past and the future. So you can look at just 5 and 6 and gain that interpretation, insight, wisdom from those cards. Are there things in your past that you need to release if you want a more favorable outcome? That's a good question to ask regarding cards 5 and 6. Another card combination we're going to look at is cards 4 and 3. I don't know why I did it that way. Cards 3 and 4. How are your beliefs or subconscious beliefs affecting your ability to reach your goals? How the subconscious and conscious relate to one another. Most often, this helps you uncover subconscious beliefs that are hindering your ability to reach your goal. It can also point to beliefs that help shape your desires. It's not always something that is holding you back. Sometimes it's something that is benefiting you. And it will benefit you even more if you have awareness about those beliefs and that subconscious understanding that's affecting your movement forward. So cards 3 and 4. Are your subconscious and conscious mind in alignment? Are your beliefs aligned with your goals? Are your desires a reflection of what you truly want, or are they hindered by subconscious limiting beliefs? So a lot of insight can be gained by that card combination of 3 and 4. And I will make these slides available to you all afterwards. Cards 4 and 9. What subconscious, I think I have that wrong. I think it should be 3 and 9 because we're talking about subconscious beliefs affecting your fears and hopes. So cards 3 and 9. What subconscious beliefs, down here what lies below, is affecting your fears and hopes? Card number 9. Cards number 5 and 7. How does your past affect how you see yourself? That could be a good one if you're working on self-love or perception of self. How does your past affect how you currently see yourself? Cards 2 and 9. This is the chicken and egg scenario. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Is my current conflict, that which blocks me, caused by my fear? Or did my fear, or is my fear a result of my current challenge? So which came first? Did I have the fear and that's what blocked me? Or did I have this block and that's what's leading into my fear? It's often a circle. It's really hard to determine which one is which. But reading those cards together can help you get to the bottom of your fearful beliefs or that which is holding you back. Again, that is if 9 presents as a fear. Remember, 9 can also present as hope, wishes, desires, dreams, goals. If you're reading card 9 as if this is a fear, then 2 and 9 is going to be a good, you're going to want to go back and look at 2 and see if that has any additional insight into why 9 is so prominent. All right, I think we're going to move on to, oh, can you resolve the challenge? So can you resolve what is blocking you by removing the fear? And I think next is permutations. Nope, a few more card combinations. Oh, now you try. Okay, so this is just a little bit of an exercise. You don't have to know what any of these meanings mean, but based on what you know so far, based on the card, I'm sure you've had some, oh, I wonder if we could do this one and this one, and if that one would give me more information. Does anybody have something? You can put it over in chat or you can just speak out. Does anybody have a card combination that has piqued your interest that you are like, oh, I can't wait to lay these cards out so I can see what these 2 cards say together? My favorite one is the subconscious in relation to anything. So I'm always like, okay, what is in my subconscious? What is still in my belief that is not serving me? How does 3 relate to what's blocking me? How does 3 relate to my future version? Oh, how we already talked about 3 and 7. How do my subconscious beliefs relate to how I see myself? What is in my subconscious belief that's keeping me from seeing myself as the brilliant, shining God spark that I am? So I really like 3, the subconscious beliefs. That's just because that's where I am on my path in relation to anything else that might be going on. Another one, you've already heard me say 1 and 2. I use 1 and 2 a lot without going into all the other 10. Sometimes I'll just lay out just 1 and 2. Where am I at? What's blocking me? But that what's blocking me, the number 2, can also play into all of the other things. We talked about 2 in relation to 9. Is it fears or how does that go? But it could also be 2 in relation to how I see myself. It's something that is blocking my progress forward because I am not seeing myself the way I need to see myself. So maybe I want to see if I just, and what I mean by card combinations is you kind of have to turn a blind eye to all the other ones and pretend that you're just doing a 2-card spread and ask yourself, what is 2 in relation to 7? Okay, back off that one. Okay, what is 2 in relation to 10, completion, if I keep on this path? If I keep on this path with this block in place, will I still be able to attain what I want to attain? Yes. Okay. No. Okay. So it kind of gives you some input into what you need to do about that block. And oftentimes we do find ways around our block without removing the block. We're still able to progress. But when you see this whole spread, it lets you know where you can tweak things so that that progression to that card number 10 is a lot more easier. So those are just some that kind of popped into my mind. Does anybody else have some card combinations that they're like, what about this one and this one? And if not, that's fine. No, not yet. Yeah, it'll make sense once you start playing with this spread, you will find all kind of card combinations. And a lot of times those card combinations don't come up until you have the question in front of you. And the question is like, oh, if somebody says, can you please tell me where I'm stuck at? Well, you automatically know if I'm laying out this spread, I'm probably going to be looking a lot at card 2, what's blocking you, card 3, what's in your beliefs, maybe card 5, what's in your past. If somebody says, hey, life is really good, can you tell me what's in the future, what's ahead for me? That's the question they want to know. Well, you're probably going to be looking at card number 6, card number 10, more heavily than the others. All of the cards are going to play into it. So a lot of times you won't know those card combinations until you know the question or until you have a client sitting in front of you. So just wanted to put that out there. Now I think, what card combos can you match up to gain clarity on the question or matter? Let's practice. We're not going to practice yet. We're going to get into that just a little bit differently a little bit later. Let me see, how am I doing on time? We're good. Okay, this is a let me say the word, permutation. A permutation is what I consider an advanced level of reading spreads. And this is just a permutation of this spread. Any spread has a permutation, which means you take the cards as they are, and then same cards, you begin moving them into different positions and seeing if they have a different meaning. Why would I do that? Oh my God, so much deeper meaning to it. And here's an example of a permutation of the cross part of it, not the staff, of the Celtic Cross spread. So the turning wheel is one permutation. Here's cards. The permutation represents a new idea, the initial action, a habit, and letting go to allow the new idea, and then the new idea, so it cycles. So if you have all of these cards laid out, if you start to turn those cards, so first we're going to move card number 3, which is our subconscious beliefs, into card number 5 spot, which is our past. And the reason why we're doing that is because it shows how previously what was in our subconscious, which we now just became aware of by this card spread, is now something that is in our past, because now we're aware of it. Now it's informing us. So we're going to move it from our subconscious into our past. Something you have learned or developed a skill from now, because we're aware of it now. It's no longer in your subconscious once you become aware of it. So what happens if I move card number 5, which was in my past, up to the 4 position, which is the crown, what lies above me position? It shows that how what was once in my past, which might be a previous skill or a trait or something that I've picked up, now can perhaps become a new skill or an ideal, something I'm wanting to continue to develop into an ideal situation. So I have this skill that's laying over here. Let's say I have ability to see the future. I don't. Well, I kind of do. But let's just say I ability to get visions about future events. And that's just in my past. That's just kind of hanging out. I never really use it. And then I decided to be a practitioner. And then I decided, hey, I might want to use that skill that I developed way back in 1973. I'm making shit up. And so now it's moving from your past into that ideal situation, because now this is your goal. And now you're going to continue to develop it and make it into what you're seeking, what your crown wants. So that's how we can keep moving them. You can continue to rotate the cards and interpret how does this affect this? And if I move this thing here into this new position, how can I read the cards that way? Again, that's an advanced level, and you might want to play with it when you're reading for yourself, just to see, especially moving that 3 card into the past position, because it does automatically go there. Once you become aware of something in your subconscious, it's no longer in your subconscious. Now it's in your awareness. So it would automatically move to that past position. So that's just an example of what a permutation looks like. Again, a little bit more advanced way of reading cards when you're shifting and moving them all around, but it can give you information and inform you on a deeper level. And you would just continue to, in this particular permutation, you would just continue to rotate all of those cards, reading them differently each time you shift their position until they make it all the way back to their original positions. So that is just one example. There are many others. We won't get into those. I just wanted to kind of present that to you if you decide to look into it, just to let you know that that is something you could do with this spread. All right, that is not a slide we're going to look at. That was from the last time I did this. I want to go back to the part where we talk about, let me just do this, the actual card positions. Let me get back to the beginning. Here we go. I'm trying to think. I think we're just going to refer to the handout, because I don't want to keep that screen up as we get into actually practicing it. So hopefully you have your handout. If not, feel free to stop me and just ask me, what does that card placement mean? Because I have it up here in the background so that I can tell you what they mean. One moment. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to ask you all, screens are all over the place. I'm going to ask you all to Think of a question that you would like insight on for yourself. And go ahead and draw your 10 cards and lay them out in the Celtic Cross spread.
We do upside down? Or
What's that?
face up or upside down?
Face up. Go ahead and face them up. Yep. So you can see all 10 cards. If you want to draw an anchor card, go ahead and draw your anchor card. Jacqueline must have already got a good one. The deck I am pulling from today is the Celtic Tarot. I thought that was kind of on theme. So I have the Celtic Tarot as my cards. I've already got my 10 pulled out.
Oh my God. We have a 1 minute break. I can warm my tea.
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Thank you.
Jacqueline, your face is worrying me.
I thought I knew something, but I don't. I thought I knew something, but oh gosh.
Maybe you know it. Maybe you know more than you think you know.
Oh no, I don't think so. Just I asked about dating.
Oh, there you go.
But I have no idea what any of this means yet, so.
That's a good one. We'll get into it.
Okay. Which covers you? Where are you currently in relation to the question?
And anybody else who needs to take a little break, please do so, ma'am.
Oh, God.
I still have it. I wish this was something I could easily reproduce, but this might help you all. It's finding one like this. They're on the internet. This one actually came with the deck I had, but see how big they are? I couldn't easily reproduce it to like ship it out to people. I might find a way at some point, but it's good because it's big enough to actually lay the cards on top of as you're practicing. And it tells you all the positions of the cards. And it tells you the meaning a little bit here on the side. I've had this for years, and honestly, I've never used it other than to just look at it. It's the same for their positions are a little bit different. That's probably why I never used it. Their positions are a little bit different, but it's still the basic thing. You know what? I should work on doing that. Work on it. I guess it's just poster anyway. That might help you if you're able to locate one of those online or make one yourself with a big piece of poster board as you practice. All right, looks like everyone is back. I'm gonna let Nev is switching devices, I can tell. All right, so everyone hopefully has their cards pulled out, 1 through 10. Okay, great. So now we're going to get into actually practicing. Now you will have your own individual questions, which is fine. Nev, are you good? You got your 10 cards pulled? Okay. So you'll have your own individual question. I'm going to go through this spread based on my questions so that we can better understand it. And then each one of you will have a chance to say, yep, I got my card, or no, I need a little bit more help with interpreting this position and what it means in relation to my question. And I feel like once we go through this spread with your own individual question and we get through all 10 cards, it will help you have a better understanding. And then after we all walk through this spread, as time permits, we'll have time for just open question and answer if you have different questions about the spread or how to use the spread. So going with my question, what do I need to know about teaching today's Tarot Celtic Cross spread class? The card I pulled made perfect freaking sense because it was the Druid. Now the Druid, also card number 5 is known as the Hierophant, and he is a teacher. You see, he's got his 2 pupils down there below. He's teaching some type of spiritual belief. The Druid is also about beliefs, about those things that we believe. So that made sense. I'm just going with a very basic understanding. As soon as I saw that card with him standing up there as a teacher, teaching the 2 pupils is how I interpreted this particular meaning. I was like, okay, got it. I don't need to go any deeper. That's my where am I in relation to this class, in relation to the course I'm teaching today. Anybody else want to share or have questions about their card number 1 position? Go for it.
I was wondering, are we also looking at if a card is upside down or right side up?
Excellent
'Cause
question.
I know some readers don't do the upside down and some do. And I'm just wondering if like maybe because I got a lot of upside down, but it could be how I was just going the way I did and I didn't really shuffle well. So I'm just wondering what your feeling is on that.
Yes, you can absolutely read reversals in those positions. Yes, Liz took the advanced track of reading this path. Absolutely, and I didn't mention that in the beginning. Yes, reversals or reversed energies is very important to this spread. You can't. You can read it either way. It's completely up to you.
Put it back upside down then.
Yep. Especially in that number 1 position, because that number 1 position you might be in reversal or in shadow on that. So that makes sense.
Okay.
So is everyone understanding their number 1? Where are you in relation to this question that you asked?
I don't know which one was 1 and which one was 2.
Oh, follow your intuition or close your eyes and shuffle them up and put them back down.
Okay.
Or if you need 2 new cards, go for it. Just follow your intuition. It'll tell you what to do about those. And there might be a reason why they were mixed up. That's always a thing too. Maybe Spirit is saying where you are and what's crossing you is kind of interwoven.
Okay.
All right. So you got your 1 and 2. And does everyone understand their 1 in relation to the question they posed? Are you able to interpret that on your own or you need some help?
Where are you currently in relation?
Everyone, I'm getting nods. So number 1 is that which covers you. What's going on now? All right.
3 of Wands.
3 of Wands. Awesome. Oh, I love those big cards. I need a deck like that. Heck yeah.
But this is number 1. So this is where are you currently in relationship to your question? Well, I'm turned backwards to everybody. No, every guy out there. No, I'm just saying. Kind of.
I mean, that could be one interpretation. Your back turn. 3 of Wands is that card. Very basic overall is the you're ready for whatever comes next.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to 2, that which crosses you. One of my favorite cards because it gives me so much insight into my current situation. So again, based upon my read, card number 2 is my question, what do I need to know about teaching this class? That which crosses you, and I got the Page of Swords. Now, normally you would think the Page of Swords is a positive card. How can that be crossing you? Y'all wait till you get the motherfucking sun as that which crosses you, and your mind is just like, what do I do with this? So let's talk about it. The Page of Swords, which would normally you would think would be a good card, is crossing me. It's blocking me, restricting me, getting in my way. I can also read this as what do I need to be aware of so that it doesn't inhibit me, cross me, restrict me. So Page of Swords, as I read this sword for myself, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Pages are deliverers of new messages, communication, that air energy, that which crosses me. I'm doing a teaching class in the middle of Mercury retrograde. I might have some issues with communicating effectively, with effectively delivering my message. So it doesn't have to be doom and gloom just because it's crossing me. It could just be something Spirit is saying, hey, just be aware, this might be a little bit of a hiccup or a bump in what you're trying to accomplish today by teaching today's class. So new thoughts coming in. Also, the only other interpretation that I'm getting from this is that it's not just me. I'm reading for myself in relation to this entire class. So it might be the thoughts of those that others are bringing to this class. Maybe they are unsure of what they're going to learn in this class, or maybe they're unsure of if they're going to pick up on everything. And so those thoughts, Page of Swords, those thoughts might be something that would inhibit or hold back the class. It might, but I feel like it's more about the Mercury retrograde and understanding that I just need to be more aware and make sure that I'm effectively communicating what I need to communicate to teach this class. So that's my number two, what's crossing me. What are your number twos? You don't have to share. I just want to know if you are understanding what that card means in relation to your question. Ooh, the Lovers as a card that crosses you. And are you good with the interpretation? You know why that's crossing you? Perfect. Perfect. Anyone else?
I think this is crossing me because of not fulfillment, but expectations I might have. The Nine of Pentacles. Would that make sense? Expectations, my own expectations?
It could, absolutely, absolutely. Do you want an additional interpretation?
Yep.
The Nine of Pentacles is also that sign that says, some of what I have is ready to be reaped, but a lot of what I have is still on the vine, and I need to leave it on the vine until it's perfectly ripe. So some of that might be impatience. If it's crossing you, it's that idea that I have to sit and wait for it to really be ready, and that might be restricting you and crossing you. Liz.
Impatience is a good one. Thank you.
Impatience, yeah. Yours is Five of Pentacles. Yep, that makes perfect sense as far as what's crossing you. Do you understand that interpretation, or do you want me to?
I think so how I see it, whenever I see like the pentacles is like money, and I'm very money like stops me from everything, from doing everything, because I need to make an income. And it like that's my whole mindset. I need to make an income, so I can't do this stuff that I want to do because I gotta work and make an income. I can't do what I really want to do.
Yeah, yeah. That Five of Pentacles too, just to add to it, Pentacles is, yes, often career, money, finances, but also anything that you hold valuable in this world. And that Five of Pentacles is you're not seeing your resources. When you look at that couple again, they're right outside of church. They could go into the church for warmth, for food, for spiritual rejuvenation, but their heads are down because they're not seeing that as a resource, and they're just continuing along their path in this downtrodden way. So that's also not seeing resources.
Okay, yeah.
Nev, question, comment? Nev has Ace of Air, Ace of Swords as crossing you. Do you understand the meaning and the placement in relation to the question you posed?
I see it as a challenge, but that's the only part that I see. That the whatever new that's coming to me, because the sun was my first card.
I love that.
When you mentioned that, I was like, that was the first card, Valerie. I don't know what that means now.
All right. Do you want my interpretation, or are you good?
I want your interpretation, please.
Okay, because of the sun, I'm glad you showed me that card. Because of the sun being that really positive card, this is where you are. And then the Ace of Swords crossing it. I see that as the Ace of Swords being new ideas and new thoughts streaming to you, but maybe so much so that you're just like, oh, there's a new idea. There's a shiny item syndrome. That might be what's crossing you. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just be aware that you're going to have an influx of new, fresh ideas in correlation to you being in that sun position. Makes perfect sense. And so that might be blocking you if you get too caught up or overwhelmed by all the new ideas.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nicole.
Okay, so I pulled an anchor card first. So this is what's really interesting. My anchor card is the Six of Wands.
Ooh.
So that to me, like, interesting, because my question that I posed has to do with family. It has to do with some inheritance. It has to do with a lot of crap. But so my first card was Ten of Wands, because I've got so much going on, and this is true. But with my badass energy from my six, I'm like, okay, keep going, because even though there's some relationships that are in my way that are blocking me, that 6 is just reminding me, just keep going. I'm almost there. I'm very close to completion of this. So there you go. And I'd like to know if you have anything further though, Valerie.
On that anchor card, time to celebrate you. Time to celebrate. You're not giving yourself enough. I shouldn't say you're not. My read is you could give yourself more. Let me put it positively. You could give yourself more acknowledgement of your successes, and you could give yourself more acknowledgement of how far you've come, and not just in a, yeah, good job, let me move on and focus on everything, but in a, no, I'm really going to sit and let spirit cheer me. And I'm just going to sit, because I don't often sit and allow people to cheer me on and allow people to be happy for me. So I'm just going to sit with spirit and listen to the celebration that's going on with all of my guides. And so maybe just spend some time in that energy. Yeah, that feels really good.
Thank you. That does.
All right. So let's move on to card number 3, which is that which lies beneath you, which refers to subconscious, can just refer to beliefs, anything that's happening beneath our conscious awareness. And again, in relation to, this is an interesting one. I pulled this and I've been looking at this for an hour or so now, and I'm still like, let me feel into this one. So in relation to this class, the question I asked about the class, in my 3 position, what lies beneath me is the 3 of hearts. Dun, dun, dun. Look at those storm clouds, the 3 of hearts. We know it's not a bad card, it's not a negative card. But as I read that card, I said 3 of hearts, 3 of swords. As I read that card and I see that image of it piercing through the heart, and I realize that this is what lies beneath me, I feel as if it's just really it's more like my fearful thoughts. It's not really about heartbreak for me. It's more like those fearful thoughts of me not teaching the class, me teaching the class and the students don't get it, me teaching the class and they're still struggling. So that's kind of what's in my subconscious. That's the only thing I can think of, is the heartache I would have if I taught a class and the people didn't get it, or they didn't feel like they understood it. That's the only thing I'm getting from that. It didn't really hit hard, like a really hard meaning for me, as far as being in my subconscious. But again, we haven't got through all the rest of the cards. So maybe it will have more meaning as we move further along in the spread. Anyone else with a card in their 3 position that they need a little help interpreting or understanding? And just to go back, awesome. I'm going to go back and read what card number 3 means, because that one is subconscious. When we get into subconscious, we're sometimes like, what? That which lies below you, the foundation or the basis of the situation, meaning that which is already present in your situation. It could also mean your subconscious. We often refer to it as our subconscious, the roots, the motivating force, or the beliefs behind what is contributing to your question of this situation. So Jacqueline, I saw your card pop up first, and then Nev. Jacqueline has a tower in the subconscious mind.
And I think it's just my past. That's what I keep thinking of. When I see this one, I keep thinking, well, my past hasn't been so wonderful. So that's
so rooted and motivating you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's tower moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, in case you forgot, tower represents all of that chaotic energy, but also enlightenment in form of that lightning bolt. So you still have some hope down there too.
Yep.
Nev has Ace of Earth, Ace of Pentacles in your subconscious. Interesting. Do you need help interpreting that? Okay. Tell me what your 1 and 2 were again. The sun and
Ace of Air.
2 aces. A lot of.
And then this is Ace of Earth.
I'll begin.
And if that's in your subconscious, this is me giving an intuitive read. So a little bit tarot, but a little bit intuitive read. If you have an Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Earth in your subconscious, That is your belief of, I would say it's your belief of creating something new, of starting something new. It almost feels like we'll see what card number 7 or card number 9 is too, because I really want to see what your card number 9 is, but don't tell me yet. I feel like if it's in your subconscious, there's something in your subconscious about wanting to start new ventures, wanting to bring new manifestations into the world. That's what I think of when I think of Ace of Pentacles, manifesting and fresh new starts. So there's something in your subconscious that's leading to that sun energy, because in your subconscious mind, you have this program running about, I got to get new stuff out. I got to manifest new things. I got to share things with the world. And then that's contributing to your position of the sun. Does that sound accurate? Does that help a little bit?
It does, because I just finished telling my best friend this morning that I've been leaning into learning about light language and different star seeds and dragons. And she's like, how did you get to dragon?
It makes sense in my brain. Don't ask questions.
It's just happening. It's just happening.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else with a question about position number 3? 4 of Swords, the take a nap card. 4 of Swords.
Well, and like it goes along with what you said I need to do. So it's interesting, right? Like I think that's I think it's rooted in truth. I think it's rooted in truth that I need to have that self-love and have that pause for the celebration. And just taking I've been doing a lot, as some of you really know. And I think, it is saying, at the root right now, I need to take this rest. I need to really reflect and pause like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And this is not a contradiction to that. This is an add-on to that, the second meaning to that card, because that position is in your subconscious. It might just mean that your subconscious is not as active as it used to be, meaning that your subconscious is no longer in the driver's seat. You are. Your subconscious is still there, but it's kind of napping right now. And you are taking more control over your life and this time.
That is so true. So true. You are so spot on. Thank you.
Awesome.
I got 7 of Swords, but it was reversed. So I'm having trouble with the reversal.
First thing, I think 7 of Swords in relation to you, 7 of Swords upright, strategic is the first word that popped into my mind, and reversal, not being strategic. So what were your 1 and 2 cards again?
Ace of Swords reversed, and then 5 of Pentacles.
And then 5 of Pentacles, being blocked by not seeing resources. And in your subconscious mind, you have not being strategic. This is what I would say. I feel like this is pointing to a belief. You have a belief in your subconscious mind that's running a script that says, I am not very strategic. I'm not very well planned out. I can't really do the things I want to do, because that card in its upright position is someone who is carrying very loud, clanky swords and trying to get away without anyone noticing them with this camp full of people. And so in reverse means you're telling yourself you can't accomplish that. You can't do the things that you're trying to do. Something in your subconscious mind that there's a belief running.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think everybody's good. We're going to move along. I'm going to try to keep us on time, so we might move a little bit faster just so that we can get through all 10 cards. So we're going to go to number 4, that which crowns you, that which is above the ideal situation that you are looking for energetically. Let me read the actual keywords. Your goals, meaning number 1, your goals, how you want things to turn out, your conscious mind, your awareness of the situation, any assumptions you might hold, and where your focus is. And again, B, the second meaning would be the best that can be achieved if nothing changes. So card number 4 for me regarding this course, as I asked that question, what do I need to know? And I got the Page of Wands, another page. The best that can be accomplished is, I see this as, this would be my students in the class today, fresh new start, venturing out into the world with their new skills, inspired, new power, inner power. Pages of Wands is that fire energy, that inspiration, that inner power. And the page would be a fresh youth, beginning a journey, action. All of those keywords tie in. And I'm like, yeah, of course, my ideal situation would be that I am empowering the students in this course to pick up their wands and move forward using this Celtic Cross spread to benefit them and others. So that makes sense for my number 4, ideal situation. Everybody else got their number 4? Awesome. Knight of Fire, Knight of Wands, I like it. Your ideal situation would be moving forward with inspiration and passion. Everybody else got a good bead on their number 4 and what it means to them? Awesome. What is that? Oh, you got the 6?
5 of Swords.
5 of
5
Swords.
Swords.
5 of Swords.
So interesting, right? You know, with my conscious, I am working on building my skills with this and my confidence and all of that. And then in relation to my question, I think again, I need to build that confidence to reach out to who I need to reach out to and work through the situation.
Yeah.
Does that resonate?
Yes. And as I read it, just a little, an additional interpretation of that placement, because it's if nothing changes, this is the ideal outcome or what you are aspiring to. And that 5 of Swords would be this is not a win-win situation. So just knowing that going forward, that not everybody's going to come out as a victor, or the victor is also going to lose something in the battle. It just kind of makes things a little bit more easier to take. Like in other words, it's going to take you realizing that it is not your responsibility to make sure everybody is happy when they walk away from this situation. Going back to your anchor card, which says celebrate you, put yourself first, allow yourself to celebrate those successes. Then when you get to that 5 where other people might not walk out of this with feeling good, that's going to be okay. That needs to be okay. As long as you're walking out feeling successful, you can't worry about everybody else. It's not going to be a win-win for everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to 5 and 6. Just in the interest of time, we're going to read both of them because those are pretty easy. It's past and future. So what lies beneath me and what lies ahead? Card number 5, which is going to be the card to your left, it's going to be your past. And card number 6, which is going to be the card to the right of those 2 center cards, is going to be your future. As it relates to this situation, what do I need to know about my past? Teaching this class, and I got the Strength card, which to me is saying this is a strong topic for you. You've taught it several times. You understand Tarot. You don't need to worry as much as you're worrying. This past information, strength, skill set is going to contribute to this teaching this class. And then what's going forward? This was an interesting placement. It's 6 of Swords, which means turbulent waters are behind and smooth sailing ahead, and I'm headed towards that horizon. I feel like that horizon is the successful completion of the class. And this, to me, in the future position means I am moving out of me worrying every time I step into teaching a Tarot class. As I read both of these together, I feel like this is a message from Spirit saying, you got this, you know this, you need to stop worrying. You're moving out of this being a difficult thing where you feel like you have to prep for a month before you teach a class. That's the difficult. And you're moving into the smooth sailing where you know what you know. And if somebody called you up at 9 a.m. to teach a 10 a.m. class, you could do it because you have the strength, you have the tools. So that's what I'm reading in my 5 and 6.
Cool.
What about your 5 and 6 as it relates to your question?
So I've been expecting a miracle, and that's so true. And I'm going to receive that. I believe, but there's going to be a loving, compassionate, union and positive. I see that as a positive outcome for this venture.
Cool. I love it.
So there may not be everybody that agrees, but there's definitely one.
There you go.
I think it's the main one. Yeah.
Jacqueline.
So what is behind you? Could that also be that I'm ready? Because I
could
have a Ten
absolutely
of
be support.
Pentacles.
Mhm. It could be support, gifts, things that you've picked up along your path.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got it then.
What was that? 8, 9?
10 of Pentacles.
10. Oh, awesome.
That's your future?
Past.
That's
Past.
past.
And then future is 8 of Cups. 7 of Cups. Sorry, 7 of Cups.
Choices. Yes.
Yeah,
Might be
choices.
juggling a lot of gentlemen or
There you go. Ooh, I like that.
Anchor card is decision. 2 of Wands. That's my anchor.
Mm.
Decisions.
And then the future facing card is decisions. I like that. That's on the mind. All right, Liz and Nev, you got a good understanding of your 5 and 6?
I got lovers for the for 5 and Ace of Cups for 6. So I like this one for the future a lot, to be honest. I'm not quite understanding how the lovers play into that. Like, what's the deeper meaning for that one?
I think the deeper meaning would be that you've gone through a lot of different love situations. A lot of love has, and this is me just giving an intuitive read, a lot of different versions and ways of expressing and experiencing love. Some that didn't feel good, some that felt great, and just shifting through all of that is in your past, and that's helping you better understand how to move to that future of wanting that, that thing. It's like you've got the experience. You don't need to experience love anymore. You've got it. You've had the bad, you've had the good, you had the ugly. You've got that in your past, in your toolkit. And now what you're moving forward to is being able to choose and decipher, what does love really mean for me, and being able to invite that in.
Cool.
I got King of Earth for the past, and then Ace of Fire for the future.
Ooh.
Wow.
King of Earth, meaning you're really good at manifesting things in your past. You've proven that, shown yourself. Moving forward into that fire energy, you're ready to light some shit on fire. You're ready to brighten this world up. I love it. All right, so that's our cross, first cross, inner and outer cross, cards 1 through 6. Now we're going to move into the staff. Card number 7 being how you see yourself. Let me get the actual phrase. What is it? So, oh, it's just self. That's what Arthur Waite calls it, just self. And this is how you see yourself. Card number 7 for me is the Ace of Swords.
Yeah.
It makes sense in relation to this question, and what I'm doing, I'm trying to bring forth new knowledge. I'm trying to communicate swords, communicate new knowledge as I teach, new for you all, as I teach a class. So that makes sense. I see myself as the bringer of new knowledge. All right. How are you seeing yourself in relation to the situation? Ah, the motherfucking sun. I love it, Nicole. You are all bright and cheery and seeing yourself the way you intended to see yourself. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And it fits very well with the situation.
Awesome. Awesome.
I have the World.
The World.
Mm-hmm.
What's your interpretation of that?
Well, after seeing everything that's been happening, that I can manifest everything, that I can pretty much own the world.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Contentment, gratitude, joy. Yeah, I just see that like I'm sitting pretty and everything is just like surrounding me and it's coming forward.
I love it. I love it. Anybody else? As long as you understand your interpretation of number 7, you don't necessarily have to share if you don't feel like it. I'm seeing nods. Okay, great. Let's move on to card number 8. And card number 8 is that which surrounds you. So understand the basic, a general meaning would be what things in my outside world are affecting this situation or affecting the question that I pose. So this can be outside factors. It can be other people that have an impact on the situation. It can be how others look at you, how others perceive you, just anything in the world around you. It can be your position in life, your family upbringing, anything that's an outside factor. Ooh, the High Priestess. Guess what's in mine? Number 8 is the High Priestess for me too. So outside factors, I'm reading this in relation to my question as out of all of those keywords for number 8, I'm reading this as that's how others see me. They see me as a spiritual teacher. They see me as someone who's connected to their intuition. And that's why they decided to take this class. So that is just a basic, I don't feel like I need to go any deeper. It made sense to me in relation to my question.
And I see it as spirit is the spirit, all the spirits are supporting me and lifting me through this for sure.
Yeah.
Making it very clear.
I love that. Anybody else with the, yep.
So I have the Magician, but upside down, which is kind of making me, it's kind of weird because I think how other people see me is that I'm extremely competent. I have everything together. I know what I'm doing. So it makes me, it's like a little weird that it's upside down. It would make more sense if it was right side up to me. So maybe they don't perceive me as knowing what I'm doing.
So it could also be not just other people's opinions, but it could just be outside factors, the world around you. So if you view the world around you as lacking in magic, that could be one.
Yeah, that makes sense now. Yes.
One interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that view is contributing to all of the other cards. That view of how I see the world around me. When I look out in the world, I don't see a lot of magic. Maybe I know I'm magic, but I don't see a lot of magic out there. I don't see a lot of miraculous things happening. And your view of the world around you is also going to contribute to all of the other energies going on in the rest of the flow, the rest of the spread.
That makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. Nev.
I got the Knight of Water. These are throwing me off because they're not like the typical tarot cards. So I'm not sure what the symbolism, which card would resonate with this in the tarot spread.
Excellent. Okay, so Knight of Water is Knight of Cups.
Okay.
And you mentioned a good point because you said the imagery in the deck that you're using is throwing you off, and imagery is important because I can tell you what the traditional meaning means for that card, but you might pick up something completely just from the imagery of the card that has nothing to do with the tarot meaning. And so you just kind of have to weigh which one of those hits you most impactfully as you read through it. So Knight of Cups, action, because it's a knight. Cups is either your intuition or your emotions. For you, I feel like it's a little bit of both. Your intuition and your emotions for you are kind of closely intertwined. Like, how do I feel about this is how you know if it's your intuition. And so it's just asking you to move forward with those intuitive hits.
Okay.
The world around you, it was in the world around you position though, 8. I can see how that would still relate to the world around you, because if what you know is what you know, but you never share it with the world, your whole spread was about action and about moving forward, and you had the sun. And so as I read it in relation to the other cards as well, I'm seeing that that is how you are talking about moving forward and presenting yourself to the world around you.
Okay.
In that sense, in that way. All right, did we get through everybody? Everybody got their 8 position? Interpreted, understood, okay. Dun, dun, dun. Card number 9, hopes and fears. Card number 9, I hope everybody got easy positions for this, but if not, that's fine, because a hard position means once you learn it, you learn it. So hopes and fears, I'm gonna read it again. Your intuition is absolutely needed for you to understand what is this card trying to tell me. What it might, could, probably, maybe, suggest, mean is, here's a few things it could mean. What you secretly desire, or what you are trying to avoid. Could also point to any anxieties. Could also mean what you want but still doubt. Could also mean what you need to resolve or move past. Like the last 9, it's a 9 right before we get to completion, right before we get to that 10. So it can mean a lot of things, and those are just the few keywords that I felt would be the most beneficial for teaching this. But we will dig into this if it's confusing, and maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll just see. So my 9 is the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands, as my hopes, dreams, wishes, aspirations, and or fears. I'm reading this as a little bit of both. The energy of, as I relate it to what I need to know about teaching this tarot class, My hope would be that everyone has a stable and secure understanding of this spread, and also that that lends to their own understanding, their own magical powers, their own inspiration in their life. I'm hoping that this inspires, but that it also gives you a stable footing, so to speak, to stand on. So that's kind of my hope, but it's also my fear, because it's like, oh, if I don't teach the class right, they're not going to feel very stable with this spread going forward. So I can see how it would be my hope and fear. I'm more on the hope side than the fear side. I'm not getting anything any deeper than that. So for me, this card was a really easy read in that 9 position. I will tell you, oftentimes the 9 position stumps me when I'm reading for someone else. Because when you're reading for someone else, it's really hard to tell if that's their hope or fear. And I often pull clarifying cards when I'm reading for someone else. But for me, it was pretty easy for me to interpret. So what all do you all have coming up for 9s? Do you need help with interpretation? Jacqueline.
Is this, well, I know it's the 5 of Cups, but is this, to me, I thought I felt perfection coming in again, because there's 3 that are already flipped over and 2 that are still there, but he looks upset. So am I upset because of I'm still kind of living in the idea of perfection in my life?
Could absolutely be that. I would say your interpretation is going to be the one that's going to guide you forward on that one. And the idea of when you said perfection and looking at those overspilled cups, it's almost like the feeling like I can't move on because this isn't right and I don't know how to fix it. But you're not seeing the other cups that are the things that you are doing right.
Right. So I'm not seeing the things I'm already doing right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So that would be your hopes and fears. Your hopes.
That's my fears. Yeah.
Them to be right. And your hopes also, that card is really important, because remember in the background, there's that bridge, that bridge that you're ready to cross over to go into the future, to go into the future manifestations. And it's saying so it's hopes and fears. Your hope is that you turn around and you see those and you start to acknowledge the things that aren't going right, and that you cross over that bridge and get to where your final destination. But you got a little bit of fear in there, and that you keep thinking, but it's not right. It's not right. It's not perfect.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but nothing is perfect. So I should just, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? That to me, that 5 of Pentacles is real evident in the 9 position. I don't think you need any help with interpreting that, Nicole. If you do, though, you got it.
Well, what I feel was my feel was the hope of being supported. Like I really felt hopeful in being supported, not sent back out in the cold. But to me, I feel like I'm being I think it's that hope. I think I'm going to be very supported in this.
Yeah. So hope and fear. Fear. Yeah. I love it.
Because it's a very deep old wound that's there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Nevin, Liz, are you getting your interpretations? You're good?
Yeah, I mean, that's strength, but upside down.
I got lots of upside down cards.
I know everything's like upside down. I'm like, I don't think I'm doing reversals. I think I'm going to be one of those people that we don't do reversals. But to me, it makes sense. I always feel like I'm not enough. I don't have enough strength. I don't have enough to do. And I do. I just don't feel like I do.
Yeah. And also remember, we are in eclipse season. It is all about chaos and change right now. And your energy is going to absolutely affect your read. So if you do have a read where everything is upside down or nothing makes sense, sometimes you can just step away from the whole read and say, yep, that's pretty much my life. Everything is upside down and nothing makes sense. And we don't even need to dig into the meaning of the cards. But, if you want a little bit more information, you can, or you can just, understand that the energies are also playing into that. So having a bunch of reversals during this time does not surprise me one bit.
I do have a question about, like, my anchor card was this the 10 of Wands, and I'm not quite understanding that one.
The 10 of Wands.
And that was right side up.
Good. Because the right side up means you're almost completing your journey. It means you do have a lot to carry, or you have been carrying a lot, but you're almost there. You're almost to the point to where you can lay that load down and truly enjoy the completion of whatever that is that you are working towards. That's one meaning. The second meaning is a lot of what you're carrying is not yours. And maybe you want to look into that and ask for support and ask for spirit to come in, take what I don't need to carry this last part of the journey, take it away. And also, if it's something that I do need to carry, help me with this load.
It makes perfect sense now.
Now,
I got the star.
oh, the star. Are you stumped?
I get I'm on the right path, but I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the relation. My cards are color coordinated as well on here. So it's kind of cool that the world and the star are resonating with the sun card, the first one. I'm just kind of stumped on like the water symbolism that's in the star card.
The water for me, again, completely intuitive read for you. The water is your connection to your intuition and your connection to spirituality. It's what I'm reading. And the star being in your 9 position, that for you is a hope. I don't see any fear in that one. So we can read it as just a hope or just a fear or both. For you, that's your hope. And just because your title is saying it right here, Soul Alchemy Retreat 2024, that retreat is very aptly represented by the star, because the star is that moment where you come in for rest, renewal, and spiritual connection and spiritual rejuvenation. And I feel like that's what you are offering with that retreat. And that's kind of not just the retreat. I know the retreat is what you're doing, but I also know that that's what you want to offer to the world in general, is that safe space where they can come and feel rest and rejuvenated. So that makes perfect sense as a hope card for the number 9 position. Does that resonate?
That makes sense. On the right path. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. 10. We made it to the end. What is the ultimate? What is our goal? What is our completion? What will we benefit from if we take all of these messages and apply them, or if we just don't do anything and stay on the current path? And again, you can read that card either way when you're reading for yourself and others. If I take all of these messages and apply them, 10 is what will happen. Or if I do nothing, 10 is what will happen. For me, in relation to my question about this class, I got equilibrium number 14, which is temperance. Temperance to me is telling me everything is okay. You've got that, you're going to have that balance between teaching a class, earth manifestation. Your connection to spirit is going to guide you during this class. So there's going to be the balance between earth and spirit. There's going to be this alchemy of blending my teaching skills with what I know, with sharing that with the others. It's just really going to be really balanced. And to me, this is everything's going to be okay. Stop worrying. The students are going to get what they need out of this class.
You're a pure teacher. That white light.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about the white. Yeah.
And passionate with the red belt.
Awesome. Awesome. I don't know what this particular deck has a bunch of animals in the background. Do y'all see that one? There's a boar. There's also what looks like, I don't know, a wild turkey or something. I think it just means I need to eat a sandwich after I get done with this class.
Bird sandwich, a chicken sandwich.
Ham and turkey. Yeah. All right. What else you got for
I got temperance upside down.
Oh, isn't that so cool that we both got temperance?
But upside down.
Yeah. Yes. So let's go back to
What did your anchor say?
My anchor is the 10 of Wands.
So the 10 of Wands, and then things being out of balance. So the 10 of Wands is asking for help. If you continue to go on carrying the load without asking for help, if you continue to go on this path without changing anything, it would be the temperance in reverse, where things are just out of balance. If you do change things, I'm reading, it would be the temperance upright. So that's another thing you can do. When you do have reversals, you can read it that way as well. For you in this spread, if I was doing the spread for you, that's exactly how I would read it. If nothing changes, things are going to be out of balance when you get to your end point. But you've got all of this information, so you can absolutely change things and flip that right side up. What is your 2 card again?
It's the 5 of Pentacles.
So that makes perfect sense. Okay, so we got the 10 of Wands saying you're carrying a heavy load. We got the 5 of Pentacles saying you might not be seeing resources that are available to you. And then that 10 card being a reverse, which means it's very easy to flip that 10 card back into balance by just being more aware of your resources, maybe meditating, maybe asking spirit to help you with that heavy load, because you're almost there, to help spirit help you carry it over the.
It's so much better when you read it than when I do my cheat sheet and I'm looking for keywords and I'm like, well, this isn't good.
It is good because you still have changes. That's why I love this one, because it points out exactly what areas of your life or what things you can change, and it tells you where they are located in your life. Instead of just saying, well, you could change these things, it says these things lie in your past, or these things are worries you have about the future. So you know exactly where to hone in on when you go to shift and change the things so that you have a more beneficial outcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm putting it up there.
A 10 in a 10 place. No, that's a 9.
It's a 9.
9 of Cups.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's pop. Yeah, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Very positive. I completely see that all of this work is going to come to this positive fruition, that I believe the abundance will be mine. I believe that it's a very stable position, and it's very spiritually led and happy. I mean, the yellow and the joy and the blue with the spiritual, and this passionate in my crown. There's passion, and that's such a wonderful. And his garb. To me, it's white. I mean, it might be gray, but there's just a purity there, and so that's the way I'm reading that.
I love it. I love it.
And do you have anything further? Did anything come to you?
I would have read it the same way. The only thing else that's coming to me, and it might be because I'm hungry, is that when I saw that table, I remember that that's a banquet setting. And when I think banquet, I also think there's so much abundance there. I can kind of pick and choose. So banquet and buffet in my head. And so when you talk about abundance, it's kind of like that's a point in your life where you get to pick and choose what you put on your plate. There's so much abundance and so much of the good stuff. And you're sitting in this beautifully spread banquet and you get to pick and choose.
Love it. In relation to the question, that is just bringing me so much joy.
Love it. All right. Anybody else?
I got the 4 of Cups. Now that I know that the water is the cup sign, and I see the cups there. But her head is down, like she's disappointed in something.
Mm-hmm. The 4 of Cups is that card where you see someone kind of melancholy. There's a rainbow. Well, in the deck I'm thinking of, there's like a rainbow and spirit behind them, but they can't see it because they haven't turned their head yet. I don't know why, but I'm going to read 4 of Cups from my book because Spirit said to read that. Let's see what it says. Reflection, contemplation, apathy. Before the individual, there are 3 cups, 3 cauldrons, this particular deck, 3 cups of his past achievements and expression. They represent his creativity, his spirituality, and relationships. But if you look just over his shoulder, you see that there is a cauldron or a cup of inspiration, but he doesn't see it. He can't see it yet. That's in your 10 position, and it's upright, yes? 4 of Cups in your upright position.
Yeah.
I think this is about, I see it as new opportunities that are being gifted to you, new opportunities specifically related to expanding your intuition, which is interesting that that comes in that last completion spot because it says that you're not, but going back to what crosses you too. Remember, number 2 was about all of those thoughts just inspiring you and coming in. So if I read 2 in relation to 10, it's saying there's a lot, it's saying that you might be prone to overwhelm because when you get to 10, it says you might not be seeing the opportunities that are available to you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means there's so many opportunities that are going to be flooding you based on that 2 card, that the number 10 card is saying you might be missing some of them. So
Okay.
knowing that that is in your completion state, you can totally tweak that. Knowing that your challenge, what's crossing you, is going to be that influx of really good ideas and inspiration. It just means that, oh, now let me tweak this. What's in your 6th position, in your future position?
My future position is the Ace of Fire.
Ace of Fire, which is new inspiration. So you've got flood of thoughts, new inspiration, and then that 10 position saying I might not be seeing my new inspiration or those new ideas. And that's not necessarily bad, because it means you will have so many that it'd almost be like trying to see in a downpour.
Like an abundance, and just be able to pick and choose what I want for now.
So when you progress down your path, if you ever get to that spot where you're just like, I'm not quite sure, I don't understand which one I'm supposed to go with, that's that 10 energy. You'll need to sit and turn within, and it'll become clear. Back to the Ace energy.
Okay. Because one of the meanings is discontentment or boredom, and I'm like, I don't want to be bored.
Sometimes as creatives, though, as creatives, we get bored when we get overwhelmed, because we've got so many ideas that we're just like, fuck it all, and then we sit there and we don't do anything, and we're like, oh, now I'm bored. So sometimes just peer into that boredom. Am I really bored, or am I overwhelmed?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So my number 10 is the 6 of Wands.
Celebration. I love it. Celebration, achievement, success, allowing others to celebrate you. Yes. Did you have any other interpretations come through for that position? That's a really good card for a 10 position. I mean, all of them are really good cards, because all of them tell us where we need to do and what we need to be doing on our path.
Jacqueline's got a choice in somebody new coming in her life.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to do the Celtic Cross on the 20th?
You don't have to, but you totally can if you feel like you can do it. But no, you don't have to.
She's like, if you feel so strong.
That's right. If you feel so inclined, you can. Okay. So how is everybody feeling about their understanding of the Celtic Cross?
Good.
I encourage you to continue to practice it. Continue to practice it, especially when you have those big, very
deep questions.
Clear questions. Maybe I shouldn't say big, but when you have a clear question, when you're just in the I don't know what I need to know, maybe go to a different spread. But when you're like, I need to know this about this situation, absolutely use the Celtic Cross. And that'll also help not only hone your understanding of the tarot. And again, remember, you can do this with oracle cards, but it'll also help you understand yourself more and understand where you are in position to all of these various factors that are contributing to your current set point. And know that if you get a reading where everything doesn't seem to make sense, or maybe that 10 card is something that you're like, I don't want that outcome, sit and meditate for a day or two, and then pull the cards again based upon the same question and see if anything has shifted for you, because our energy, our set point shifts all the time, even in relation to the same question. So do the work and then pull the cards again and see if the outcome has changed or if it's shifted any.
Right.
Not an end all be all death sentence just because you pull the cards. You can continue to shift and change and pull the cards again on the same question. All right, great. I think we made it just in time. We got all the way to the 2-hour mark. So awesome. You will all get, Liz, I have your email, so that's great. Everybody that's in the Advanced Tarot Mastery class will get this as a recording into the class description. And Liz, I'll email the recording and the slide presentation to you so you wouldn't have to take notes on everything, so that you have access to all of that. All right, any closing questions?
Valerie, will you send us the slides as well? Yeah. I love referencing those for my notes.
Yes, absolutely. I'll post it in the course content.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. This has been such a fun class to teach. I think this has been my favorite time teaching this, and this is like time number 3 or 4, so yay.
Yay, even through retrograde.
I know, thank goodness, right? All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Valerie.